close to one. So yeah, grab a tomato real quick. Definitely not mine. All right. I wanted to talk about the history of the Earth a little bit, about mass extinctions and the like. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I wanted to get into what scientists believe happened, billions of years ago, like the very first couple mass extinctions, and we can get up into the dinosaurs and how we know, and that's right, know for a fact that if they didn't kill the dinosaurs, we know that there was a huge asteroid that struck right at the time that they all had passed, and that boundary is called the KT boundary. It stands for Cretaceous Tertiary, when mammals started to take control of the Earth. They also so the mass extinction was called the Great Oxygenation. So you only had anaerobic single-celled organisms at first for like the first 3 billion years. There's only been complex life for about a half a billion years, about 500 million years. So the very first mass extinction that we know about happened a real long time ago when there was only single-celled organisms, and none of them, there was no oxygen. Okay, and there was finally cyanobacteria, and that was an organism that we still see today, and it photosynthesized, so it creates oxygen from the sun. So it built up in the oceans for millennia before it secreted into the atmosphere. But as it was filling up, it was killing off all the anaerobic life because they just couldn't handle it. You got to understand, oxygen is no joke. It's super flammable. It's actually a rocket. It's rocket fuel. Okay, you would think it would be really thick and short, right? But definitely thick, because as a tree ages, it gets a ring and then another ring, and so it's getting thicker and thicker as it ages. So every year is a year. So there are trees that are very, very old. And then ice core data, right? You can actually get atmospherical tests. So you go down 100,000 years in the ice, you can pull out, there will be trapped oxygen, little pockets of air. You can find out if there was volcanism, like heavy volcanism, and maybe that caused cooling, because that does happen. Yesterday we talked about the year without a summer, 1815, after Tambora blew up. It made sulfur dioxide go up into the atmosphere, and when it gets up there, it does the exact opposite of greenhouse gases. That's why they call it a volcanic winter. It stays in the stratosphere and even up in the mesosphere, which is even higher than that. They're so small. He was either hit with it, but he had murdered somebody else too, it seems, because not only his blood, but they found one or two other people's blood on his knife that he fought back with viciously. The story goes. I mean, they even know what his last meal was. So I think they let me just get a couple things here. Does this guy ever read the comments? I'm so sorry. I just started doing this. I'm so sorry. You would be benefit from a speech therapy. I know. I should. I'm sorry, guys. We're found. All right, professional. Yeah. So shoot me some comments. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I appreciate all my subscribers. And I just kind of wanted to ramble off today about some of the things that are interesting. You know what I mean? So where are we now? All right, let me see. Matthew Harrison. Hi, Matthew Harrison. Hi, Talking Dirt's King. Hi. They found giants in the ice. No. Am I a professional? I could call myself that. Yep. You would benefit from a speech therapist. Thank you. I appreciate any constructive criticism. Does this guy ever read the comments? I am doing that now. What do you call a knee gears? I would have no idea, bud. And then That's a riddle for you. Okay, well, I appreciate the riddles, guys. Okay. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I have goats over here that, well, they're not mine, but I tend to these goats and to these chickens over here. Beautiful animals. You know, if you guys want to check them out real quick. I like zoology too. You know, I like the link between animals like the dog, which we touched upon yesterday, and how they help Neanderthals and us Homo sapiens become great hunters, and they were great companions, and they were sometimes worse. But they did all kinds of jobs for us, including hunting, protecting us, keeping animals away at bay. So the dog-human connection, and I do a lot of dog videos, you know, about 1 out of every 5. Usually I do geopolitical stuff, but I just do love science too. So I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about science, a little bit about animals, maybe some of those mass extinctions and stuff we were talking about just recently. It's kind of cool. Saw that guy, and then so yeah, the crow there. Let me see if I can get some of this comments here. Shout out my boy Mike Hawk. What up, Mikey Hawk? Hey, guess what? What theaters? What? I see you're a Trump fan. That's interesting. I would find myself to be, I mean, policy-wise, what he's been doing. Oh God, yeah. Is he the most best person in the world? Who cares about that, right? So, I grew up in a leftist area. Everything was left. I grew up left to the left, and they lost me a few years ago, like 5 years ago, completely. So yeah, and now I'm starting to see the right have all the sensible stuff. It seems lately, and you know, I mean, I don't agree with everything in this bill. If you want to talk about politics, I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, but let's see what do we got. Does it come from the? Yes, you did, brother. I guess I had a brain fart there. And anyway, yeah, for some reason the other, here comes the other ones. There's a fucking, I'm gonna check to see if they need hay though. They need hay a lot of the times and shit. Here comes the mama. Oh boy. Mamacita, and this is the only male, and he's got the biggest nuts I've ever seen in my life. And I think he's impregnated 1 or 2 of them, so it's pretty cool, I guess. These guys, huh? What's up? What up, yo? They're dwarf goats actually, and half Nubian, half dwarf. I'm gonna see if they need any hay. Keep the hay over in here. Yeah, they absolutely do. So I'm gonna make sure I do that for them while I'm talking. But mammals came after the dinosaurs had passed 65 million years ago. And oh, how do you know that, Matt? Well, we know for a bunch of reasons, but I'll give you just a few. There was a guy named Alvarez and his son in the 1980s that came laughed about it. Everyone thought you could get hit with a rock and have it, you know, kill life on a planet, or at least attribute to helping out with it. They didn't think it was that powerful. Anyway, so they go about him and his son look for it, and they find uridium. Uridium is very rare on Earth. It's a heavy metal that's only usually found in space rocks. You can find it on Earth, but in the center of the Earth, that's where most of the metals during the formation of the planet go. They go to the center of the Earth. I want to go grab that hay, so they found it in a layer that matches completely with the dinosaurs, and all you find is worldwide, you know, 50, 100 times, forget what it is, the amount of iridium, and you see iridium sometimes used in like spark plugs because it's good for that type of thing. It's really it can take a lot of high temperature. Anyway, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna grab that hay. All right. Anyone still around? One person there. Yeah. So I'm trying to get used to all this YouTube shit. You know what I mean? I do all kinds of studying, all kinds of every day on geopolitical stuff, especially. I do it with a historical context. I think you guys should subscribe and check me out because I think you'd like a lot of my. I do a lot of shorts, but I break it down. I think really nicely. But as a day, every day I upload. Be right back. 2 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. All right. Oh, someone hung around. Cool. Let me just show you one more time. Goat cheese, baby. GOAT. Goat. All right. Let me read some stuff. Hey, guess what? No one's asking me anything though. Let me find out. Hi. Hey, what's up, Harrison? I don't even. You throw me a question or two. What do you guys want to? What do you guys want to hear? I mean, talk about or debate or whatever. Because no one talks. No one's gonna. I'm not gonna hang out much longer. Bro, love from India. Yeah, I have a lot of in some of my videos, and I did India. Like I did the Pakistan-Indian War. I did that. And some other shit. I don't know. I'm waiting on the feed for the goat right now. All right, so I'm just gonna let everyone fly. All right, peace. This stupid send off. All right, guys. See you later. That's a little bit better. I don't want to sound stupid. Hey, bear. Are you the bear? He's the bear.